Brian Haas, Commissioner.
Dylan Pelton, Historic Planner.
David Whalen, Commissioner. Interim
Okay,
chair.
so somebody has to motion him in as interim commissioner in John's absence.
I'll make a motion for David Whalen to be interim commissioner or interim chair of the commission.
Second that. All in favor? All right, motion passes, and I would make a motion to approve December minutes.
Second.
All in favor? All right, motion passes. We're on a roll. All right, first order of business, 607 Shenango Street is
So 607 Shenango is the landmark structure that we voted in last time. In order to do so, we needed to have an open public hearing. So we have to open the floor to a public hearing for that case.
okay, we'll do that now.
Yes. Motion. So 607 is a house that we passed as a landmark structure. It was built by Walter Whitlock. He eventually lived in the structure. Jeff, who couldn't be here, I could call him if you would like, but we've already been through the case. But in order to make something a landmark structure, it has to go through a few hoops. One is a public hearing, and then it goes to Planning Commission, who's already approved it, and then it goes to City Council. So the Planning Commission part is finished. We have voted on it, but there was never an open public hearing. So we are going to open the public hearing, motion to open public hearing. If anybody would like to speak for or against, they will come down, which I received no emails and I received no written communication, no phone calls about it.
So at this time, I'd make a motion to open a public hearing for 607 Shenango Street. If anyone wants to make comment for or against. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone?
Is anyone here for 607 Shenango Street?
Just say it looks like a lovely house with I mean, the windows are exquisite and
Okay, then that will close the public hearing piece for 607 Shenango Street.
So you have to motion to close.
Motion to close it? All right,
I'll
make a
second.
motion to close. Second. All in favor? All right, motion passes.
All right, the second case, Mark Yanani couldn't be here, but he said he'd be available to call. So I'm gonna give him a phone call. You state your name and your address for public record.
Mark Yanati, Yonety, 45 Lewis Street, Binghamton, New York, 13901.
And the sign you're presenting is going to be over an existing sign without any additional lights or anything else?
Oh, correct.
I think it looks
Basically
good.
a covering over an existing sign.
Right. The current sign will remain up. This will just be fastened over it.
Any comment, discussion?
I think it looks good. I don't know. Doesn't seem to conflict with any of our.
Looks like everything will be the same other than okay. Anybody want to make a motion?
I can make a motion. Make a motion to approve the signage as presented for 201 State Street.
Second, anyone? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes as presented.
Okay, got your sign, Mark.
We're all set.
You are all set.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
All right, next up, we have 85 Court Street. Is anyone here for 85 Court? Come on down. So the applicant would like to install temporary window signs for a pop-up exhibition. Looks like we have part of those signs here. Anna?
Hi, yeah,
Hi,
I'm
Nice to
Anna.
meet you. Okay, go ahead. Let us know
Anna
what you want to.
Warfield, 151 Chapin Street, Binghamton. So 85 Court Street is going to be a pop-up gallery space for approximately 3 months, but up to a year. So the project space is called Praxis, and it's made possible in partnership with this other organization called Chishama, which is why you see 2 logos happening. And basically, we're just hoping to get some signage in the windows. The pop-up actually began on the 1st of this month. And so we'd love to get some signage as soon as possible because, you know, pop-ups are temporary.
Now, I was told the coloring of the lettering is just white, isn't it?
It's just white. Yep.
Yeah.
All white.
And it's definitely below the 33% usually.
Looks pretty minimal.
Yeah, that was my only comment. Any questions, discussion?
It's just meant to be minimal because I wanted this to be easy for all of us. Yep.
And are there any caveats we have to be concerned with because it's temporary versus permanent? It's gonna be a long-term meeting anyway.
Temporary signage is looked at pretty much the same as permanent signage when it's
Okay.
historic. But I don't see many. I mean, as
We
far
don't
as the
see any
guidelines go, it's pretty straightforward.
Concerns here? Anyone want to make a motion on this one? If there are no questions,
Make a motion to approve as presented.
a second? All in favor? All right.
Thank you.
And you still have to go to the planning department and
We've
get a
already-
sign permit. Yep.
Yep. I've already paid, so
Thank you.
come
Good
to
luck.
first Friday and we will see you in February.
All right, we're on a roll. Next up is 60 Morgan Road. Phil Ginter. Is Phil here?
Is Phil here? Oh.
No. We skip it?
We are, yeah. Technically, we are the applicant, so I can stand in and answer any
All right.
questions.
Perfect. All right, the applicant, the city of Binghamton, would like to commission a mural on the park grounds. Dylan, take it away.
So the zoo would like to put a mural somewhere in between the pavilion space. This is a map that Phil gave me. Around the amphitheater in that area. This is about the size that it's going to be. And you're going to be able to, I believe, like purchase a tile and paint it yourself to put on the mural. It's cool.
Any comments, questions, concerns? Oh, so you have to recuse yourself. Okay. Do we have to make a motion for that?
Can you speak into that?
Fisher Associates is the company working on the zoo project.
Did you
Yeah,
do
right.
any of the design work for the mural or?
Not for the mural, but for the trail improvement project. Like
Are you,
if you scroll down here, you'll see Fisher's drawings.
Oh, that's not this case though.
I mean, are you guys
This
doing
is for,
anything?
this
with
is for the mural.
Yeah, are you doing anything for the mural
For
or?
the mural, no.
Okay, I think we're good then.
Okay. Just making sure.
We're good.
You can if you purchase a tile.
Is it a mosaic or a mural?
It's a mosaic.
Nice.
Oh. Hopefully max.
The mounting of it and how exactly the size of it was never, that was never transferred to me. So this is the mock-up that he was given and was given to me.
Do we have to know the exact size and mounting to make a motion to approve?
To approve something, it would be good to have.
Okay. Sure.
Don't think that'll affect whether or not we'll approve it.
Right. So should we table this pending further information, or do you want to try to call it?
Table it till the end and yeah, I'll call Phil.
Okay. Make a motion to table this case at the end of the meeting. All in favor?
I'll second.
All right, we'll table that.
So this is being tabled until next time because I called Ben. Now, one thing that just was relayed to me today, the lengthy discussion of this project, it's going on a long time, is this is a state registered building and it's also in a historic district. And the state weighed in and said they're generally very against demolitions and they're going to get in contact. David Boggs contacted me and he got in contact with somebody else at Chippo who has not gotten back to me yet. So I would assume that Ben would like to wait for that answer before he moves forward. So he motioned to table it until next time.
It's motion to table the case for 109 Oak Street. All in favor? All right, motion passes. Next up is 14 McNamara Avenue. Anyone from the Broome County Land Bank? All right, the applicant would like to demolish the garage at the rear of the property located at 14 McNamara Avenue. Take it away.
Hi, Jessica Haas, the Executive Director of the Broome County Land Bank. We're renovating a home at 14 McNamara Avenue on the south side. We're currently out to bid right now. Our bid opening date is actually today at 2:00. So we're hoping to receive bids. Our bids for this project include several ad alternates, which is the base bid is to keep the garage. But the alternates is to demolish it. So we're hoping to keep this garage because it's certainly a marketing aspect of being able to sell our homes if there's garage space. But if it turns out to be that it's just not financially feasible, we just want to have the opportunity to be able to demolish it if that's what we choose to do.
Okay. We start with type of action or lead agency?
Lead agency.
Okay, so I would make a motion.
So I don't believe we have a quorum to do this one.
I have to recuse myself from this case on account of just me and my wife.
Forgot about that.
So we can't do seeker and we wouldn't be able to do the determination of significance today.
Okay. So would you prefer to just table until February, presuming we'll have a
I
quorum at that
think
meeting?
that would be okay. We're working on acquiring another property that we'd like to demolish as soon as possible, but we would that property, we actually need to undertake a seeker in another municipality. So we think that there's going to be a little bit of a lead time on that. So I think February would be fine.
Okay,
Okay.
if that's okay with you, then we'll make
Yeah.
a motion to table this case until the February meeting.
Second.
All in favor? All
Okay,
right, motion
thank
passes. We'll see you in February.
All right.
You're welcome. Sorry about that.
One more thing. The next item on your agenda, I just wanted to mention, 42 Whitney Avenue. This property is up for consideration for a small business tipping fee waiver through the land bank. So I just wanted to let you folks know that as well. It's just a relevant point.
Okay,
All right,
thank you. Okay, next up, we have 42 Whitney Avenue. The applicant, Nick Lorenzo, would like to demolish the house at 42 Whitney Avenue. Come on down. Okay, how are you?
Good. How are
Good.
you?
Just state your name in the microphone and let us know what you've got going on.
Hi, Nick Lorenzo, owner of 42 Whitney Ave. We're looking to into this one. Yeah, it's great. Nick Lorenzo, owner of 42 Whitney Ave. We're looking to demo this property. It's neighboring our business, our Dorenzo Brothers Construction, and we're looking to demo for future expansion.
Okay, so I'll start with making a motion to declare Caud lead agency.
Second.
All in favor? All right, a motion passes. Questions, comments, discussion on this?
Dylan, do you have any briefing on this or?
The building itself isn't, it started out as a working class 2-family home. As such, it probably doesn't have too many embellishments. It's been vinylized. All the windows have been changed. It's in an I3 heavy industrial district. So technically residentially, it's not really supposed to be there.
Yeah, that's kind
It
of,
has significant, obviously, foundation issues because there's a giant hole in the foundation. As far as the rest of it, it stayed pretty much a 2-family house throughout much of its existence.
it kind of reminds me of one of the houses, I forget where it was. We did
Yeah,
allow
I'm
a
thinking of-
demo that was in a industrial district, but I think the one thing is usually we'd like to see like plans of what's going on after, but does the industrial district aspect with like the parking, does that kind of, is that like a caveat, I guess?
It doesn't show in the pictures, but his construction office is next door to this property.
Okay.
So basically, I think you said you wanted to expand it just for the
Yeah,
office, right?
we're looking to have the property shovel ready for future, possibly storage for our business or that type of thing.
Okay,
And you're in construction business, heavy equipment, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, so I guess does the industrial district loosen our kind of worry or concern about future plans?
about post demolition plans,
Yeah.
is that what you're asking about?
It's hard to say because if he's going to park heavy equipment on it, how would you stripe that? Like what engineering documents would you need to park
Right.
a backhoe on?
Right. And since, I mean, I'm not overly concerned about it, given the district, but
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically you're just expanding that lot.
yeah, so for right now, we're looking to demo the property and clean it up and we're not necessarily looking to park anything right now, but we just want it available. So when we're ready to expand our business, it's ready to go.
yeah.
Okay.
I think for the record, I just wanted to bring that up because
Yeah.
it'd be different, at least from my perspective, if it was in a residential neighborhood.
Yeah.
Sure. I think we'd be a little bit harder, so.
Okay.
The houses, we had Keystone look at it. They condemned it. They deemed it unsafe. There's a lot of problems in the neighborhood with homeless people living in there and things like that. Nobody's lived in the house for 6 years. It's been vacant. We just purchased it this past year.
Okay,
Okay.
so it's a
Right.
public safety.
Keystone,
As a
Keystone
big
did
foreclosure.
say that it was unsafe, which is why I didn't go in and take pictures of the interior.
Okay, so given that, does anybody want to make a motion or do we have to do the run through our checklist first?
Oh, yeah.
You
Declared an unlisted action.
Okay. Dan, you want to take it away?
So I think you have to declare it unlisted?
Oh, so I would.
Anybody
okay.
can motion
Oh,
to
okay.
declare
I'll
as
make a motion
unlisted
to declare
action.
this as an unlisted action.
We have a second? All in favor?
All right, I can run through the list here.
Yeah, okay.
Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation? No. Will the proposed action result in change the use or intensity use of the land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? Nope. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy? And if it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies, public-private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historical, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in adverse change to natural resources, example, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. I guess I'll shift to the City of Binghamton Historic Guidelines. Provide the following recommendations that address demolitions. Do not demolish historic structures that have historic or architectural significance within the City of Binghamton. Do not demolish a building that contributes to the historic setting and character of a district. Do not demolish a building that contains historic building materials or evidence of historic craftsmanship that would be difficult or impossible to replicate or reproduce. Do not demolish a building that is a rare example of its type, style, period of construction, or historic associations. The building should not be demolished without definitive plans for the reuse of the property. The reuse of a property should never be a parking lot, which would generally have a negative impact on the overall character of a street. Do not demolish a building when reasonable efforts can be made to maintain its structural integrity. If a historic building is active and earning a reasonable economic return, it is not appropriate to demolish the building, even if the return is not deemed to be the highest and best value. I think there was, could be wrong. Thought there was more. Anyways, the proposed demo does not appear to be in conflict with these guidelines, so I make a motion to declare this not historically significant.
So all in favor? Okay, you're good to go.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Have a
Nick.
good day.
Have a good one.
That would be a negative declaration. of-
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Just to clarify, that motion was to consider 42 Whitney negative declaration. Okay, next up, 2 Louisa Street. Anyone here from 2 Louisa? All right, come on down. The applicant, Willie Rowe, would like to demolish the structure at 2 Louisa Street for parking for more vehicles.
Good afternoon. Mark Marinick, General Manager, Williams City of Binghamton. We're looking to demolish 2 Louisa Street. It's an old tired building. We're no longer using for more parking space for our vehicles for sale.
Okay, I'm looking for it here, Dylan. What type of district is this?
It's neighborhood commercial, I believe. Hang on.
Neighborhood commercial.
Yeah.
Any questions, discussion, comments on this one, guy?
Looks like similar character to the recently reviewed project.
Yeah, I mean, it seems somewhat similar to the last one of the caveat that you're potentially going to use the space for vehicles for sale.
Yes,
Which I guess-
we're landlocked. Our business is growing. And we were parking vehicles inside. It's tight, but ultimately just looking for more space.
Okay,
We are selling part of our property to the City of Binghamton, which it's in process. It's the property across the street from our dealership on Court Street. So we're losing some land, but we're looking to gain some parking area back.
Is it in the gas station across the street, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
all right, so there's no historical significance to the building and it's not residential. If anybody has any thoughts on this?
I mean, industrial buildings are often thought to be historic, but I mean,
Okay.
in going through the building, the only thing that's really historic is the windows that were in the building are original, which are unusual, but for an industrial building, it's not particularly special. It's empty. It's got fluorescent lighting. It's got a drop ceiling, made of CMUs.
Okay, and given this would potentially be used for business expansion, anybody want to take a stab at a motion on this one if there isn't any other question or comment?
Motion for negative declaration.
Dan,
Yeah, I think we have to do the.
All right, so I'll have to declare.
Motion for unlisted action.
Yeah, motion for unlisted action.
I'll second.
All in favor?
No.
All right. We have to declare Caud lead agency on this
Yes.
one. Okay, I would make a motion to declare Caud lead agency for the 2 Louisa Street case. Any seconds?
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, motion to declare Caud lead agency passes.
Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of the critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies, public or private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? Examples, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. So I make a motion to
Yeah, negative.
declare a negative declaration on this property.
I'll second.
So compatibility with historic guidelines, the City of Binghamton Historic Design Guidelines provide the following recommendations that address demolitions. Do not demolish historic structures that have historic or architectural significance within the City of Binghamton. Do not demolish a building that contributes to the historic setting and character of a district. Do not demolish a building that contains historic building materials or evidence of historic craftsmanship that would be difficult or impossible to replace or reproduce. Do not demolish a building that is a rare example of its type, style, period of construction, or historic associations. A building should not be demolished without definitive plans for the reuse of the property. The reuse of the property should never be a parking lot, which would generally have a negative impact on the overall character of a street. Do not demolish a building when reasonable efforts can be made to maintain its structural integrity. If a historic building is active and earning a reasonable economic return, it is not appropriate to demolish the building, even if the return is not deemed to be the highest and best use. Flip the page. Do I have to motion?
Yeah, I usually say like, we find this not historically significant.
No. Based on these guidelines, we find this property to not have historic significance in the City of Binghamton.
Motion to declare a negative declaration as presented.
No historical significance.
Motion to declare no.
Finding of no
find a
historical
Finding of no
significance.
historical significance.
Second.
All right, thank you all.
Have a good day.
No. I had like chicken scratch here. I don't know if you saw it. That's my,
Okay, last but not least, 60 Morgan Road again. The applicant, the City of Binghamton, would like to commence the Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the Ross Park Trail System improvements for accessibility and safety. All right, Dylan, take it away.
Okay, so phase 1 and phase 2.
This one is where we don't have a quorum.
So you'll have to recuse for this one.
Yeah.
So I recuse myself from the 60 Morgan Road case due to conflict of interest.
Second, all in favor?
Do you want to discuss it or do you want to drop it?
I mean, we can
We're all
discuss
here.
it. You just can't vote
So
on it.
basically, we're going to improve the trail system at the zoo. We're going to start here at this corner at the end. We're going to restore these gates and create this pathway that goes this way. And this is all existing, but you can't see it unless you go down here in the flat. There are 2 pedestrian bridges we need to completely get rid of and redo. It comes up past here, and then it goes along the side of the road and up along Morgan Road around the maintenance part. It ends up at the end of the parking area over here. These are the pavilions. These are some of the improvements that you see. Some of it's for grading, some of it's for drainage. We're going to expand the trails. So I believe are they 8 or 10 feet? They're 10-foot trails. They're ADA compliant. Yeah. We need to change this entrance. I'm not really sure if we're going to do that in this phase because that is its own thing. That's a much larger project. But yeah. So we're going to take this out. We're going to regrade some of this. We're going to make this wider. We're going to add a fence. If you want the full improvements, I actually have the plans. If you want to look at them. This is all going to be dust trail. There's one of the bridges at the lower end. The trail begins right here at this corner. We're going to make sidewalk improvements over here for the crossing. That is one of the first pedestrian bridges. We're going to regrade this.
So a lot of that trail will be new,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
And in the process, I do believe we're going to restore the 2 historic monuments to the beginning of the park. This regraded entrance is a very large undertaking, so I'm not sure if that's going to be included. Basically, we were told that buses that come in and out keep hitting the gate, so we have to expand it and make it graded different. The trail ends here. If you've ever been to the Discovery Center, you know that there's a bridge right here. It extends to that bridge. There is a 3rd phase to this project, but it was cut off due to financial difficulties and the fact that it kind of is its own bear. So, but those are the phase 1 and phase 2 is actually like in the park. And if you want the full sheet set for it, we have it upstairs.
Any comments, questions, discussion on this? All right, I'd make a motion to table a vote for 60 Morgan Avenue, phase 1 and phase 2 until February. Second, all in favor?
All right, let me see if I can call Phil and get like how big that mural is.
Bob, I have a question. Can we declare lead agency without a quorum? Because we need to start coordinated review.
I believe you need a quorum to be able to declare lead agency because without the quorum, the board can't act.
Okay.
Like pretty much the only thing that the board can do if there's not a quorum is hold stuff over and close the meeting.
Over the holiday. Good. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
So Philip was in his office. I don't know what to tell you.
That's where we're gonna, yeah. Yeah, those are the questions we're trying to get answered right now. The size of it, how it's gonna be mounted, and the material is a good question too. Yeah. But I know the tiles will be available for a price for people to paint as a fundraiser, but I don't know the material. Ceramic, wood.
Okay, you're on speaker talking to the commission. So you said that it was 12 by 24?
Correct.
Is there any other questions?
I think what was the surface it's being mounted on?
What is it being mounted on?
It'll be mounted on like a plywood frame. The way they produce it is they do aluminum sheets. So it's a reproduction of all the individual tiles. People scan them and email them into the production company. And then the artist compiles them and basically produces a print of the mural on aluminum panels that are then shipped and installed on the plywood backing.
So it'd be freestanding more or less. It's not.
Is it freestanding or is it like on some kind of footed system?
Yeah, it'll be on a footed system.
Okay. So not necessarily attached to any structure that's there right now.
So it's not attached to any structure. It's like freestanding.
Correct. Where it's going is there's currently a dilapidated fence in that area. And so it would just go in front of that fence line. But there's no existing structures there.
Any other questions on this?
Off to the side in the grassy area by the pavilions. I think we have a call on Thursday, but I think from what I've seen, I think when the trails are redone, I think the trail will come down in front of where the mural will go.
By the maintenance shed? Like the end of the parking area?
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is the new trail system will come in and cut down through that grass area. It sits off to the side of the pavilions, like I said, to where there's a fence line currently, and then there's like a drop off that goes down to where where the carousel will be located.
And so basically, somebody paints the tile and then emails it to the person and they put it into the mural?
Yeah, so this company, they do these all over the world. So people get 6x6 inch tile with a painting kit. So they're all kind of color coded. And they're given instructions on, you can paint whatever you want, but you have to use the color scheme that you're provided. And then there's a submission form. So they snap a picture of their tile when it's finished. They send it into the mural mosaics. They then compile all of them to create the master mural. So from a distance, it looks like one image, but then if you're up close, you can actually identify your individual tile.
Pretty neat. Are we concerned at all? Or do we want to see what it's going to look like when it's, mounted, what the footings are going to look like? That sort of
Yeah,
thing?
I'm just curious about the timetable on it. I mean, because it would be nice to see like some more developed construction details.
So when were they hoping to install the mural itself?
When are you hoping to install the mural?
February 22nd.
Okay, so would they be okay if we tabled this for February meeting and requested maybe pictures or diagrams of what the mounting structure is going to look like itself, or something a little more true to life, or what the end product's going to look like?
We were gonna table it and see if you could provide a little more specific detail as to the actual mounting of the footers of the mural.
Table it till when?
February 4th.
All right, that's really cutting it close. If I had known you wanted that kind of specifically, we would have included that when we sent it in the original proposal.
We assume that if there's nothing drastic or unforeseen in the diagrams or schematics they send us, we could.
Like 2x4s, that'll be anywhere from 2 to 4 feet in the ground with like I said, a plywood backing. So when they put the panels up, they'll be attached to the plywood.
Is there a way to do a conditional approval?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds fine unless anyone has issue with that. Could we do a conditional approval just pending the, documents that they'll
Still
send
bringing
over?
the documentation.
Yeah, okay.
Just
Do we
curious.
want to
'cause you
put that into a
mentioned you were-
motion?
What you mentioned you were calling Phil. I don't know who Phil is. Who's responsible for this mural, for the maintenance of it?
So the only thing that'll be visible from the front will be the actual mural.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a good
Parks
question. What about
Department,
ongoing
who is-
maintenance of the mural?
Who are we on the phone with?
Probably the Parks Department.
Okay, who's
The
on the
park-
phone?
They're asking about the maintenance
Phil?
of the mural. That's the
Does
Parks
anyone know?
Department, correct?
That would be us.
The zoo.
Yeah.
Okay. So the zoo is about for the maintenance.
I don't have any issue with
Can
the
you please
mural
state your name
itself,
for the record, Phil?
especially since it's kind of freestanding. It's
I'm
not.
the executive director at the Southern Tier Zoological Society.
So somebody want to make a conditional motion?
I have a question though.
Yeah.
Was this designed or is this just something that they're building? I don't know if this is a Caud standpoint or not, but just the 12-foot by 24-foot, it's a billboard essentially that has a significant wind load on it. And if the 2x4s are only in the ground 2 feet, this thing's likely to blow over.
And the area where we're looking to have the mural installed is part of our current lease with the city that runs through 2045.
Yeah. I think the only concern that we're having is that with a significant wind load on the mountain, if it's going to tip over. That's why they're asking for the footing diagrams.
All right, we can work on getting those.
Sure.
Yeah, if it's something that was designed by an engineer and stamped, then a foundation's a foundation. I don't really need to see that. Just knowing that it was designed versus not designed, I think is pretty key.
It's a gray area because it's a mural. I mean, that's kind of,
Yeah, if they're okay with it blowing over after the first storm and having to rebuild it,
I
then
know. So that's the only issue is how it's mounted in the ground, correct?
yeah, but as far as historic guidelines go, I don't think that really affects us at all.
It's not going to be lit, correct?
No, we're not running any power or anything to the frame.
Okay, what do we think, gentlemen? We okay with a conditional motion or we want to table?
Yeah. Go for it.
I'll make a motion for conditional approval as presented, with the expectation that they provide construction details related to wind loading / foundation that's reasonably resistant to wind loading, and just details on construction in general.
And that would be the approval of the mural at 60 Morgan.
Yep, and that's the approval of the mural at 60 Oregon.
Second. All in favor?
Second.
All right, so motion to approve the mural conditionally has passed pending further schematics and diagram of final project and what the actual mounting structure will look like. Well.
All right. So we're gonna, yeah. All right, talk later. I'll let you know right away. Yep, bye.
All right, that was it for the agenda. Any other business?
I believe if there's other business, anything,
That's it.
I believe that is full it.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, January 7th COD meeting is adjourned.